Welcome to you all in our medicine lecture. On behalf of medicine department, I am Dr. Sanjay Kumar Saha. Today I am going to present pleural effusion. So our topic is pleural effusion. It is very much important topics, our exam and our day-to-day practice. We know what is pleural effusion. Pleural effusion is a pleural fluid in pleural space. Normally 5 to 15 ml pleural fluid is present, but clinically we need at least 500 ml fluid to detect pleural effusion. So how can we clinically diagnose the pleural effusion? Pleural effusion may affect in bilateral or unilateral. Usually unilateral pleural effusion is more common than bilateral. So how can we clinically detect pleural effusion? Unilateral pleural effusion. Inspection, patient may be dyspneic, chest wall will be bulged, and other opposite side of the unaffected side of the chest will be normal. And chest expansibility is reduced in affected side, and trachea will be shifted to the opposite side. We know the pleural space, any fluid or any air which may shift the mediastinum to the opposite side. So in pleural effusion, huge accumulation of pleural fluid may causes the shifting of mediastinum to the opposite side. And palpation, buccal fremitus will be reduced, and percussion, affected side will be stony dull. So in our exam we instruct the examinee palpate and percuss the chest from the back. We know that when pleural fluid is accumulated, it is we know the water is accumulated in the base and air is accumulated in the upper portion. So when we instruct the examinee palpate and percuss the chest from the back, in that cases we first of all inspect the patient from the back, and this is most two signs: expansibility will be reduced, buccal fremitus will be reduced, and percussion will be stony dull. So our findings from the back is there is features of collapse. And breath sound will be diminished. But in the collapse and pleural effusion, how can we differentiate it? Only one thing, very important thing, this is seeing the tracheal position. So only the tracheal position give a clue you that in case of pleural effusion, then trachea will be shifted to the opposite side, but in case of collapse, trachea will be shifted to the same side. This is the important clue you should keep in your mind. You should regularly practice in your ward to see the tracheal position. As we know, trachea is little bit shift towards the right. It is a normal phenomenon. But in case of pleural effusion or pneumothorax, trachea will be shifted to the opposite side. But in case of collapse of the lung, trachea will be shifted to the same side. But in case of mass lesion or consolidation, trachea remains in normal position. What are the common causes of pleural effusion? We know that in our country, the three most common causes of pleural effusion, especially in unilateral pleural effusion, these are parapneumonic effusion, pleural effusion due to pulmonary tuberculosis, and bronchial carcinoma. Above these three causes, another causes which may affect the bilateral pleural effusion. These are the transudative causes. Maybe nephrotic syndrome, CLD, chronic liver disease, or congestive cardiac failure. If a patient have a short history of fever, breathlessness, we think parapneumonic effusion. In a patient with long history of fever, weight loss, especially fever is low grade, we think pleural effusion may be tuberculosis. But in a patient, elderly patient, history of smoking, rapid weight loss, cachectic, nicotine stain, supraclavicular or scalene lymph node, unilateral pleural effusion, we think first malignancy, bronchial carcinoma which affect the pleura. So this is the by this way, from history, other side examination, we can conclude what are the causes of pleural effusion. If patient is dyspneic, gallopridom, bilateral basal capitation, so we think JBP raised, we think bilateral pleural effusion from congestive cardiac failure or LVF, left ventricular failure. A patient have swelling of the face, decreased urine output, including anasarca. So we think maybe affect the side is kidney, nephrotic syndrome. Or a patient have stigmata of CLD, ascites. So we think the pleural effusion may be due to chronic liver disease with portal hypertension. So in our curriculum, pleural effusion is very much important our board viva exam, as because we know that we have a X-ray, pleural effusion X-ray, chest X-ray, and our short case, long case. So so this is very much important. Other rare causes of pleural effusion, in exam table, examiner may be asked you, tell me the right-sided, especially right-sided pleural effusion. In that cases, your answer will be liver abscess or subphrenic abscess burst to the pleural fluid, pleural cavity. Second thing, dengue hemorrhagic fever. Third thing, Mace syndrome. What is Mace syndrome? Ovarium tumor, ascites, and right-sided pleural effusion. Exceptional causes of side, according to side, right-sided pleural effusion. Sometimes examiner asks you the left-sided pleural effusion. Most common causes is ruptured, actually not rupture, complication of acute pancreatitis, Dressler syndrome, rheumatoid arthritis. These are. What is Dressler syndrome? We know in the post-MI period, third or fourth day, patient complains pericarditis, pleurisy, fever, and severe pain. This along with effusion. So these 5P causes Dressler syndrome. How can we differentiate pleural fluid exudative and transudative? We know all infective malignancy causes exudative pleural fluid are all transudative cause, or transudative cause means these are the CLD, nephrotic syndrome, congestive heart failure. These are the transudative cause. How can we say this is exudative or transudative? By biochemical study. When in pleural fluid albumin level more than 3 gram per dl, it is exudative, but it is less than 3 gram per dl, it is transudative. When pleural fluid to serum protein ratio more than 0.5, it is exudative, but when pleural fluid to serum ratio less than 0.5, it is transudative. When serum pleural fluid LDH to serum LDH level more than 0.6, it is exudative, but when this ratio is less than 0.6, it is transudative. So these are the parameter you can differentiate it pleural fluid exudative from transudative. In general, we know that all infective and malignant causes are exudative effusion, and it is very much common in our country. Another, beside this, all heart cause, liver cause, renal cause, which affects the causes the pleural fluid, it is always transudative. In short, you can memorize by this way. How can we confirm is it pleural fluid or not? Clinically, we detect it is right-sided or left-sided pleural effusion, but confirmation depends on aspiration of pleural fluid. When you aspirate, it confirm you that this is pleural effusion. Another thing, pleural fluid color, you can give a clue. You can give a clue what are the causes. In case of color, normal color is usually serous. There are several colors: serous type, straw color, hemorrhagic color, or chylous or milky white color. But in case of tuberculosis, it may be straw or hemorrhagic, even may be milky white, chylous color. But in case of malignancy, it is always in hemorrhagic type, But in case of tuberculosis, what we will expect from pleural effusion? In case of tuberculosis, it is our country is very much common, pleural fluid due to pulmonary tuberculosis. In case of pleural fluid study, we take the sample in 5 test tubes. First of all, 1 test tube we kept in our ward for physical findings. If there is a cobweb appearance, so it gives the clue tuberculosis, as because protein is very much high and cobweb appearance is occur. Second sample test tube, we send it for biochemistry department for study of protein and sugar. But in case of infective exudative effusion, protein will be high and sugar will be decreased. Third test tube will send in hematology department for total count and differentiate count. In case of tuberculosis, as because TB is a chronic infection, so total count will be high and differentiate count lymphocyte will be high than neutrophil. But in case of parapneumonic effusion, neutrophil will be predominant. Fourth test tube we send for the microbiology department for gram stain culture, including AFB staining. But in case of pleural fluid study showed that 20% cases AFB will be positive. In culture, 1/3 case culture will be positive. But in case of pleural biopsy, 80% cases tuberculosis will be positive. So, in case of pleural fluid study, we send for another special test. This is ADS study, adenosine deaminase study. So, this sample, this test we can do from aspiration of pleural fluid, and we interpret this sample very clearly, and it is help us to guide how to manage this case. Another causes, I want to tell you what are the recurrent causes of pleural effusion. We know all transudative causes may causes bilateral recurrent pleural effusion. Beside this, second thing is bronchial carcinoma, pleural mesothelioma, lymphoma. This may causes the recurrent causes of pleural effusion. Another thing, how can we differentiate traumatic hemorrhagic fluid pleural effusion or hemorrhagic pleural effusion? when you aspirate the pleural fluid, the color is hemorrhagic. But how can you differentiate it? If this hemorrhage may be trauma or disease process, in that cases, we aspirate the fluid in the test tube and this will be stand for a few minutes. If blood clot, if this clot formation occur in pleural fluid, it is traumatic. But if there is no clot formation, send for hematology department for differential count. The RBC is more than 1 lakh, it is traumatic, and RBC more than 10,000, it is hemorrhagic. It is hemorrhagic. And in microscopic study, in case of hemorrhagic pleural fluid due to traumatic, RBC will not be crescented, and in case of disease process, RBC will be crescented. This is the way you can differentiate hemorrhagic pleural fluid due to trauma or disease, underlying disease process. It is very much important. Second thing, how can you differentiate empyema thoracis with chylous pleural fluid? In both cases, pleural fluid will be cloudy. How can you differentiate in between two? So, very easily we can differentiate in between two. We aspirate the fluid when it is cloudy and send him for centrifuge. After centrifuge, if the fluid is clear, then it is pleural fluid due to empyema thoracis. But it is still cloudy, then it is called chylous. Then it will be, the cause is chylous. So, what are the causes of chylous pleural fluid? Very much common in chylous pleural fluid is trauma to the thoracic duct. We know the thoracic duct is remain in chest cavity. When it may be trauma by perioperative or road traffic accident, pleural fluid will be cloudy or milky white. Another cause, tuberculosis, infectious cause, tuberculosis or filaria affects the thoracic duct and may causes the chylous effusion. Second thing, malignancy, lymphoma, which may affects the thoracic duct and causes chylous effusion. So, in our exam, the question is frequently asked you, what are the common causes of empyema thoracis? First cause, parapneumonic effusion with infection. When parapneumonic effusion is secondary infected, then it causes the empyema thoracis. Second thing, when lung abscess burst into thoracic cavity, it may causes empyema thoracis. Third thing, third factor, when liver abscess or subphrenic abscess burst into the pleural cavity, it may causes empyema thoracis. So, these are the causes and how can we aspirate the pleural effusion and physical findings, laboratory findings. I discuss you now. How will you treat this patient with pleural effusion? Pleural effusion patient treatment depends on underlying causes. In case of parapneumonic effusion due to pneumonia, antibiotic is the choice. Must be injectable antibiotic, and according to guideline of community acquired pneumonia treatment, patient must be hospitalized and at least 2 injectable antibiotics should be started, as because pneumonia complicated the effusion. So, it is a complicated pneumonia. Second, the pleural effusion due to tuberculosis, we can start anti-tubercular treatment. First, anti-tubercular treatment 6 months. Third, if pleural effusion due to bronchial carcinoma, we can start according to histopathological report, is radiotherapy, chemotherapy, adjuvant therapy, or staging is permitted. it is surgery may be possible. If pleural effusion due to transudative causes, maybe congestive cardiac failure, chronic liver disease or nephrotic disease, so underlying treatment should be done and effusion will be corrected. Next, the last of all, I want to tell you how will you treat the pleural fluid, recurrent pleural fluid accumulation. In case of, we previously discussed, in case of bronchial carcinoma, pleural mesothelioma, lymphoma, recurrent pleural effusion occurred. In that cases, we treat these cases by pleurodosis. One important thing, pleurodosis. How can pleurodosis done? Pleural space will be obliterated by inserting a catheter into intercostal pleural space and giving sclerosing agent, tetracycline, talc. But in case of malignancy, bleomycin should be given, and this agent kept this pleural space at least 4 to 8 hours, and every 2 hourly posture change done to spread of this agent, sclerosing agent. In this procedure, patient may feel chest pain, cough and sometimes breathless. Simple analgesic and oxygen may be given for treating this procedure. So this is all about pleural effusion, clinical evaluation, management and treatment. Hope you will enjoy this class. Carefully watch this video and see you next class.